Hello there, welcome to today's session. So today we are going to study about Indian Theories of Knowledge, and I believe you remember we had already completed Karvaka school and Jaina school within the contact hours itself. So let me move on to the next topic, that is the Buddha school. But before that, I just want to discuss with you some very important points that you have to keep in mind while going through all these philosophical systems. And of course, the first concept that you have to remember is all about jnana. What is jnana? Jnana is all cognition. Cognition means understanding. Jnana means all cognition, whether it is true or false. And we know that jnana is divided into two, prama and aprama. And prama is valid or true knowledge. Aprama is invalid knowledge. And you have also studied what are pramanas. What is a pramana? A pramana is source of valid knowledge. Sources means the means, the ways, methods using which we reach onto a valid or a true knowledge. Okay. And Indian philosophical systems consider 6 such pramanas. And what are they? They include perception, inference, comparison, testimony, presumption, and non-cognition. What is called perception? Perception is that which is presented in front of our senses. Okay? That which you can see in front, you can sense. Are you getting it? All these include under perception. Then the second is inference. What is inference? Inference is that very conclusion we reach based upon the knowledge that we already know. Okay. Comparison means, of course, comparing. Okay. Making comparison between two objects based on its traits, characteristics, etc. Then the next is testimony. Testimony means evidence. It can also be oral evidence, okay, from a true person, okay, from an authoritative person. Then the next is presumption, okay. Presumption is based on probability. For example, I would say that you just consider the case, looking on to black clouds on the sky, we often say that, yeah, it's going to rain today. Okay, that is an example for presumption. We presume, we feel like there is a probability of something, okay, based on, some kind of cause over there. Okay, then the last one is non-cognition. To put it into simple language, I would say that non-cognition equals to intuition. Okay, what is intuition? Intuition doesn't involve conscious reasoning. You have some kind of an instinctive knowledge or some kind of an intuitive knowledge about a particular situation that is literally found inherently. Okay, a thing that is a bit more insightful. Well, so these are the pramanas, and you know that we had already studied in the prior session of this module, this school of Buddhism. Buddhism is actually based upon the theory of reality. Okay, what is this theory of reality? According to Buddhists, reality is a coin which has two sides. Okay, one side which consists of the not permanent characteristic or anicca, and the other side consisting of the not self characteristic or anatta or emptiness. Okay, so these are the theory, the theory of reality inside Buddhism. And Buddhism only considers two objects of cognition. What are these two objects of cognition? One is Swalakshana and another is Samanya Lakshana. Okay, Swalakshana means, that which is understood, okay, that something, that an object that can be perceived using pure consciousness or pure sensation, that falls under Swalakshana. But an object of cognition which is attained through thought construction. Thought construction over here means imagination. That is called Samanya Lakshana. Just because Buddhists consider only 2 of these cases, they narrow down the 6 pramana into 2. So that means Buddhist only considers, okay, they accepts 2 pramanas among the 6. And those 2 pramanas are perception and inference. Okay, so first I would go to perception. Let's see how Buddhists look at and conceive this process of perception. So they admit perception in the case like, you perceive a particular object, but you do not reach into a particular conclusion about it. Okay, so when you perceive, the Buddhist way of perceiving things just involves the very moment, the very fraction of a second when you just look onto a particular object. Usually when you look onto a book, for example, okay, on getting the first glimpse itself, the next step is you have the name of the book in your mind. Okay, Buddhists actually cuts down that second stage. Are you getting it? So, according to them, perception is actually limited to that very glimpse. Okay, that first look that you have upon that object that you are trying to understand. And it doesn't involve the name. Okay, name of that particular object. That is an object that is perceived in front of your eyes. That's why they have said as it is received through pure sensation or pure consciousness. Your brain do not just move on to analyze that object and find out its name. So the process of perception inside Buddhism actually involves a step prior to that recognition or naming of an object. Are you getting it? The second case is inference. There is a reason, okay, why they consider a second pramana. In the world, when we try to analyze and find out the realities, truth about a particular reality, there are very many cases in which we cannot come upon a conclusion just based upon our perception. And these Buddhists consider all such cases into inference. Okay, they analyze all such cases which cannot be perceived using our senses using inference. That is the situation. Okay, so I just get you an example. For example, the very case fire on the mountain. Okay, so by looking onto or by getting the presence of the smoke on the mountain, we conclude that there is fire upon the mountain. Why we are coming on to such a kind of a conclusion? It's all because we have a previous knowledge about a universal relation between this fire and smoke. If at all there is smoke, then there is a possibility of fire on the mountain. What sets Buddhists apart from other schools is their consideration of vyapti. Okay, according to them, Vyapti means that universal relation that you keep in mind, okay, between this fire and smoke, okay. Where there is smoke, there is a possibility of the fire. We obtain it out of our previous experience. That's it, okay. That's why it has a universal relation and all will agree with that too. Okay, well, so they believe like this Vyapti, it should be either in the nature of cause and effect. Okay, or that is tadutpatti, cause and effect, or this vyapti should be in the nature of tadatmya or identity. You're getting it? And moreover, under inference, the object of cognition should also fulfill 3 conditions. Okay, this object that we are right now considering, for example over here, fire on the hill or fire on the mountain. Okay, so this particular case should be present in paksha and sapaksha. Okay, the object should be there in paksha and sapaksha, and it should be absent from vipaksha. Okay, so paksha means the subject under study. So if at all we are considering a particular case, that case should include the object under study. Okay, so over here the case of fire and the smoke should be there. Then the second is it should be present in sapaksha. Sapaksha means similar instances that you can find in the world around. For example, the case of fire and the smoke. Anybody can come across with fire and smoke, from in our natural surroundings itself. If I put it, more simply, you just get into a kitchen, you have always fire present over there. If you just keep away the gas, well, there is of course smoke and fire. So we have similar instances. Okay, so every object of study should be present in sapaksha, that is in the similar instances. We should be able to find out the same case, and it should be absent from vipaksha. Vipaksha means dissimilar aspects. Okay, it shouldn't be contradictory. Okay, where there is fire, where there is smoke, there should be fire. That's it. And inference is again classified into two under Buddhist school: Swarthanumana and Pararthanumana. Swarthanumana means inference for oneself. Pararthanumana means inference for others. Inference for oneself means, the very argument that you always have inside you. Okay, you might be deeply thinking about a subject matter. You have a kind of an argument in between and you come upon a conclusion. Whereas Pararthanumana actually means, those inference we make for others. I get you an example. Suppose you take into consideration the case of a debate. So what you do in a debate is you are trying to put across an idea, okay, for the sake of one particular position or standing that you have taken. So you are trying to infer, you are try to reflect your inference for the sake of others. Are you getting it? And Buddhists say that it should be, such inference should be provided through syllogism. Okay, so with this we have come to the end of the session. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this session was really helpful for you. Thank you.